Now it's that time of the year when parents and learners are preparing for back to school, and one of the challenges at this time of the year is finding transportation. We have in recent years seen road crashes linked to scholar transport, and authorities are warning operators to make sure their vehicles are roadworthy. Let's now take a look at the situation in Mpumalanga now. I'm joined by Thulasizwe Thomo, who's the Mpumalanga MEC for Public Works, Roads and Transport. MEC, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this afternoon. What's your biggest plea that you are making to scholar transport operators now that the school season is about to start?
Well, thanks, Katleho. Greetings to yourself and the viewers at home. And let me take this opportunity on behalf of the department to extend our well wishes to everyone and a great year ahead. Well, our plea as the department is to transport operators, particularly scholar transport operators, is that they should adhere to the National Land Transport Act as one of the regulations that governs scholar transport. That concern actually emanates from the fact that we want to see our children being taken or ferried to schools every day, coming back home safe. So that is one thing which has made us, or rather has triggered us to ensure that we call for all scholar transport operators to adhere to this act. Of course, learning from our previous experiences of a number of fatalities that we have experienced as the province in the previous years.
Just maybe talk to us and unpack some of those safety regulations that you do expect the scholar transport operators to adhere to.
Well, as I've indicated, that the National Land Transport Act does explicitly outline as to what is it that has to be done. But as a department, we have developed our own plan as to as a way of doing verification into the scholar transport. So we have outlined or rather submitted a number of dates to the scholar transport operators to come so that our transport or rather traffic operators will come and do proper assessment in terms of compliance with the Act and to check as to all these vehicles are roadworthy. So that will be done from tomorrow up until next week, the 15th, as one of the things that we're doing as the department. But it's something that we are doing periodically, and it's something that we're doing quarterly to ensure that there's safety. And I must indicate that there's a cooperation between ourselves and the entities who are contracted with the department.
What have been some of the challenges in previous years that you've seen to constantly come up with regards to some of those scholar transport operators in adhering to those regulations, and maybe just the conversations between schools themselves and parents in ensuring that these operators are also adhering to those regulations?
Well, in the previous year, one of the complaints which we have received was that we have drivers who are driving this scholar transport who are not adhering to the laws. Others are coming driving drunk, others are driving vehicles without proper documentations in terms of permits and so on and so forth. So these are some of the things that we wanted to deal with them as we start the year. So these are some of the things that were reported by parents. If you can remember, one of the fatalities which we have experienced as the province in the previous year, there were some allegations aligned to a driver that is driving or that was driving under the influence. So these are some of the things that we wanted to clear and ensure that we communicate them as the year starts, as it is indicated in the National Land Transport Act, because the Act itself does outline as to what is it that is expected on a driver of a scholar transport. What is it that he or she must possess in terms of documentation, the kind of training that those particular individuals should have. So those are some of the things that we are expecting and trying to communicate from now onwards.
So the department is going to deploy transport inspectors on various routes. What will they be looking for? And is this an operation that will last all year long, or is it just at the beginning of the school season?
We have taken a decision as a department since my arrival that monitoring of scholar transport is going to be done internally through our trained transport inspectorate. So this is something that's going to be done every day, especially days, school days. So this is something that will be done from day one of the opening of schools up until to the last day, so that we can ensure that there's compliance in terms of the Act and other regulations that are governing scholar transport. Because if you can remember, scholar transport falls within the public transport. So we want to ensure that it becomes a daily routine, and we strengthen our monitoring team, because there's been an outcry in the province that our monitoring it's not doing well. In the previous years, it was outsourced, but now we are taking it back internally, because we have hired close to 98 transport inspectors, people that are well trained, who are traffic officers in terms of training. So they will be charged with that particular responsibility of daily monitoring the scholar transport.